So super jazz. Okay. I have here a former student, Skyler who is at his dream school. Okay, at West Point. Yes.
Yes, sir.
West Point is in the house. By the way, before we began, you just had a couple of few questions. Just please share, okay, to the audience. I think that was like insane what you said. How what you shared about boot camp at West in your first weeks at West Point. Please share.
It was really intense. Doing a couple things that really brought me out of my comfort zone, like throwing a live grenade
Oh gosh!
and rappelling down a cliff.
Wow.
A couple other things that I've never done before, like going on a 9-mile march with like a 40-pound backpack and carrying a gun the whole way.
Thank you. As you recall, we had used hooks to help build your college planning bio, especially to help you stand out in the application process. So can you share what were some of your hooks and how did they help you basically in terms of standing, setting you apart? How did they help you set apart from other applicants applying to your top school, West Point?
I feel like I was early on in the process able to identify the areas that I should focus more on, like those hooks, and then focus on those, develop them, and then that really, I feel like, enhanced my application because I had 2 years of focusing on my main three. And one of them being the author takes a long time.
Yes.
So it was really helpful figuring that out early and then focusing on it.
Absolutely. You bring up a really very important point that strategically and ideally, it's best really to start the process as early as the sophomore year. I remember we started working together in the spring of your sophomore year. It was clear that you were seeking admission into a school of the caliber of like West Point, because you went to St. John's, yes? It was a military school, yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, exactly. And as such, definitely being an author was the project that made the most sense. It was your hook and your key project. Tell us a little bit about how do you want to go about, developing, and becoming an author and so forth? Because that really, I believe, helped you set yourself apart. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, sir. It really, I guess, started with, I guess I had an idea about it and like a situation that happened. And then I kind of just committed to writing a little bit every day. And it kind of like became something. I had a lot of people who were able to help me. And then also YouTube videos that kind of showed me how to go about like the self-publishing process, like Amazon KDP. And eventually what started as a joke actually became something. And then whenever I realized that I could actually do it, then I was really excited, and it just kind of pushed me through that final like 15 things that I had to do in order to get it published.
And you got it done literally just weeks before you submitted your application.
Yep.
Yeah. That's awesome. Some of the additional hooks you locked in, and what did you do to develop them? So one of the hooks, okay, I definitely two key hooks clearly was leadership, and the author, What were one or two of your other hooks, and what did you do to strengthen it, strengthen that hook or hooks throughout high school?
One of them was just like I remember it being, the title specifically, the do-gooder. So like just kind of racking up volunteer hours and like tutoring other students and whatnot. And that was really helpful.
You did something unique also, if you recall, as far as the do-gooder. Tell us briefly about the tutoring model that you created at your school.
Well, there was this idea that students who were struggling academically, that they just weren't smart, so that they would be put in something called stupid study hall at my old school. So me and a couple other students didn't want to see that anymore. So we made sure that to kind of start like a different program for that.
You've left a legacy, by the way, Skyler, right? Because I understand that program continues at your high school?
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. So the final two questions. So as someone who got into one of your top college picks, what would you say was the most valuable about deploying and leveraging your hooks to help position you as an ideal candidate and applicant to West Point?
I feel like it was just focusing. Again, so many students will focus on 15 different things, but it was just consolidating those 3 things and not trying to be a man of all trades, but focusing on those 3 things every day and having the clear focus and knowing exactly how to integrate it into an essay.
Yes, yes. Well said. Well said.